Its Latin name already tells you almost everything about it. Atropa Belladonna. Atropos was the oldest of the three fates, the Greek goddesses of destiny. She was the one who carried the shears, cutting the thread of human life when its time had come. The Greek word atropos means irreversible, inevitable. Belladonna, in Italian, beautiful lady. In a single name, the nature of the plant was already there: beauty and death, an ornament and a warning. Italian women used juice from belladonna berries to dilate their pupils. Wide, dark pupils were considered a sign of beauty and sensuality. The berries stained the lips and flushed the skin, effects that, in candlelight, could be mistaken for health, youth, or desire. Belladonna entered the dressing table like perfume, ordinary, familiar, used without much hesitation. What was rarely said aloud was that the same compound, in a higher dose, could cause hallucinations, delirium, paralysis, and death. The women who used it understood that it was dangerous. They used it anyway. In Renaissance Italy, beauty sometimes came at the cost of blurred vision, accelerated heart rate, and a nervous system quietly working against itself. The plant contains three main alkaloids: atropine, scopolamine, and hyoscyamine. All three are anticholinergics, compounds that block acetylcholine, the neurotransmitter the nervous system uses to regulate involuntary functions: heart rate, digestion, glandular secretion, even the pupils of the eye. Block acetylcholine and the pupils dilate, the mouth goes dry, the heart accelerates, vision blurs. At higher doses, the brain begins generating images that aren't there. A handful of berries is enough to begin seeing things that do not exist. A few more, and you might not wake up in the morning. Atropine was isolated in its pure form in 1831 by the German pharmacist Heinrich Mein. Before that, no one knew exactly what was inside the plant. They only knew what it did. Belladonna accompanied humans long before anyone formally described it. References to plant extracts containing atropine appear in the Ebers Papyrus, an Egyptian medical document dating to around 1550 BC. Its history likely reaches even further back, into ancient Mesopotamia. The Celts are believed to have soaked arrowheads in its juice. In ancient Rome, belladonna became associated with political poisoning. Livia Drusilla, the wife of Augustus, was rumored to have used its berries to murder her husband. Similar suspicions later surrounded the wife of Claudius. In the 1st century AD, the Greek physician Pedanius Dioscorides documented the plant in De Materia Medica, already warning against confusing it with mandrake, because belladonna was considered far more dangerous. More than 2,000 years of recorded knowledge. And still, every year in Europe, children mistake its dark, glossy berries for blueberries. In the Middle Ages, the plant was believed to belong to Satan. But beneath the theology was pharmacology. Women accused of witchcraft prepared ointments from belladonna, henbane, mandrake, and animal fat. The alkaloids absorb efficiently through mucous membranes and thin skin. Applied under the arms, to the inner thighs, or anywhere blood vessels run close to the surface, the compounds entered the bloodstream rapidly, bypassing the stomach, where the same dose might have been lethal. The result was not symbolic flight, it was pharmacological flight. Scopolamine-induced hallucinations, vivid enough that those who experienced them could later describe the Sabbath in detail: the music, the dancing, the faces of people they knew. In 1562, the Renaissance physician Giambattista della Porta described women under the influence of these ointments, believing they had been carried to banquets, music, and dancing. Inquisition records contain confessions of flights to places hundreds of miles away. They were not lying, they were describing exactly what they experienced. And the broomstick was not only a symbol of flight. According to later accounts, it may also have been part of the method of application. Ancient sources use the term doryknion for poisonous plant substances associated with spear poisons. The name comes from the Greek word dori, meaning spear. Pliny the Elder mentioned such substances in the 1st century AD. Later historical tradition claims that belladonna extracts were sometimes used to contaminate enemy food supplies, not necessarily to kill, but to disorient and incapacitate. A soldier who could no longer stand upright could no longer fight. The surviving accounts are secondary, and no original Roman document confirms the practice directly, but the story persisted for centuries. Long before anyone understood its chemistry, the plant already had a reputation as a weapon. The criminal history of belladonna is documented more clearly, through court records, autopsies, and testimony. In 1887, Jane Toppin began work as a nurse at Cambridge Hospital in Boston. She became known as Jolly Jane, friendly, sociable, well-liked by both patients and staff. No one knew she was experimenting with morphine and atropine on the people in her care, carefully adjusting doses and observing how consciousness faded. Hospital staff noticed her fascination with autopsies. They did not notice the drug doses. Atropine also helped conceal the effects of morphine. Victims lacked the characteristic pinpoint pupils that might have revealed the poisoning. One alkaloid concealed the other. In 1901, 4 members of a single family died under Toppin's care within 6 weeks. The husband of one victim demanded an exhumation. The autopsy revealed morphine and atropine. Toppin confessed to 31 murders. She said she wanted to have killed more helpless people than anyone before her. The motive was not financial, not ideological. In her own words, it was about control, about deciding when the boundary between life and death had been crossed. In 1994, toxicologist Paul Agutter took atropine from a laboratory at Napier University in Edinburgh and added it to his wife's drink. He then poisoned several bottles of tonic water purchased from a nearby supermarket, attempting to make the attack appear as part of an accidental mass contamination. 7 other people in Edinburgh were hospitalized. At first, investigators believed the poisoning was accidental, but the atropine concentration in his wife's glass was far higher than in the contaminated bottles. The discrepancy exposed the deception. The man who understood the poison better than anyone else in the investigation had made the mistake that betrayed him. In the 20th century, atropine became something else entirely. When German scientists developed nerve agents in the 1930s and 40s, compounds like sarin and tabun, designed to kill by flooding the nervous system with acetylcholine, atropine was discovered to be one of the very few effective antidotes. The mechanism is almost inverse. Nerve agents cause acetylcholine to accumulate until the body begins to seize. Atropine blocks the receptors entirely, buying time for the poison to clear. The same compound once used by Renaissance women to dilate their pupils was later administered to soldiers and civilians exposed to chemical weapons during the Iran-Iraq War and during the Tokyo subway attack in 1995. Today, atropine is a standard component of emergency medical kits in much of the world. Every paramedic carries it. Scopolamine developed a history of its own. In 1916, a Texas obstetrician named Robert House noticed something during childbirth. Women sedated with scopolamine entered a state he described as twilight sleep, and in that state, they answered questions they might otherwise have avoided. To House, they seemed incapable of constructing a deliberate lie. In 1922, he brought scopolamine into Dallas County Jail and interviewed 2 prisoners accused of serious crimes. Under the drug, both men maintained their innocence. Both were later acquitted at trial. A Dallas newspaper coined the term truth serum. House disliked the phrase, but he used it anyway. Over the following decades, police forces in several countries experimented with scopolamine during interrogations. During the Cold War, intelligence agencies on both sides of the Iron Curtain returned to similar experiments, classified facilities, code names, and eventually programs like the CIA's MK-Ultra. The conclusion, repeated again and again in later documents, remained consistent. Scopolamine does not compel truth, it compels talkativeness. The two are not the same. In 1963, the US Supreme Court ruled in Townsend v. Sane that evidence obtained through truth serum was inadmissible in criminal proceedings. Today, atropine is a standard medical drug. It is used as a first-line treatment for organophosphate pesticide poisoning. It reverses certain cardiac arrhythmias. Before surgery, it is administered to reduce glandular secretions. Scopolamine followed a different path. A small adhesive patch placed behind the ear of a passenger crossing the North Sea, standard treatment for motion sickness. NASA later developed formulations for astronauts. Today, it is also used to reduce nausea during chemotherapy. In 2012, researchers at the U.S. National Institute of Mental Health published findings suggesting that scopolamine may produce rapid antidepressant effects, acting within hours rather than weeks. Research is still ongoing. And belladonna itself? It still grows along forest edges, abandoned walls, and quiet European pathways. Its berries remain dark, glossy, and deceptively edible, something you could pick without a second thought. 2,000 years of documented history, a poison of empresses, a cosmetic of Renaissance women, a weapon, a witch's ointment, a truth serum, an antidote to chemical weapons, a remedy for nausea in space. The plant remained the same, only human intention changed around it.